Afternoon. We've obviously moved our press briefing down here from the substation. This is a little closer to where the action is. This makes 1 week that we've been fighting. It's been a Herculean effort. Everyone involved, the Sheriff's Department, the city, South Bossier Fire, State Police, our EOC guys, Levee Board, Police Jury. I mean, I just go on and on how much everybody's been working around the clock. Let me just hit a few, little bit of good news that the gauges seem to have at least crested at this point. Got news that the water up on Red Chute up north on Dogwood area is actually down off the sandbags now, back down to the normal levee, which is certainly a good start. It's expected to continue to decline. As you move on down here, as we talked about all along, the flash flooding that occurred a week ago has gone, but it eventually drains down and it was starting to back up. And it's been just record historic flooding further on south, primarily in the rural areas down here. We had a gentleman here and his family last night that came in fact, a gentleman and his dogs and the whole family on Pool Road that had stayed as long as they could, and finally he says, we got to go. And so with the help of the fire department, we went down there and rescued them. There's probably still, I don't know, a dozen or so on Pool Road, Chief, is that a fair statement? 18, exactly, on Pool Road, but we're standing ready in the event any of the others need to get out. So we've been very fortunate so far. Driving around the barricades, here's why you don't drive around the barricade. Last night we were still here at 8 o'clock or so and we got a report of a gentleman that Dr. Powers actually found wandering around, elderly gentleman. And we finally found his truck later on down the road. I mean, it's just a miracle that Dr. Powers was out there that late and found him, or he could have perished. So don't drive around the barricades, please. Colonel Barantini is going to update you in just a moment on some things, on how to start getting ready to recover and the paperwork and that sort of thing. But as we start to recover, please beware. Be sure you use a reputable contractor. We've seen it before after storms and floods. A lot of people that really shouldn't be doing business come in and take advantage of people in a weak moment, and so beware, be on guard. Any questions, call the Better Business Bureau and all those folks. Check them out. Use licensed, reputable contractors. The last thing that these people need is to get duped after being flooded. So with that said, I'm going to let Colonel Barantini explain some of the recovery efforts and the numbers and the paperwork that you'll need to get. Colonel?
Thank you, sir. As the Sheriff mentioned, here we are at our staging area in one of the most impacted areas of our community in South Bossier Parish. It's very appropriate as today we begin to see the recovery phase in our community. The recovery through our nonprofits, through our church groups, through so many organizations. If you remember the journey that we were on last summer, we weren't sure that our community would get a presidential declaration for individual assistance. So our nonprofits were the filled the gap. They filled the needs of our community to the best of their ability. Well, we have a presidential declaration. We have individual assistance approval. So in the days to come, obviously the FEMA system will be in place where that will be more evident. And again, our Director Snellgrove is working with our GOSEP partners, and he'll have more information in the days to come. But it's important now that I once again remind you, and I do apologize for some of you, you've heard these numbers before, but it is important. There are 2 phases of information that we need as a community to make this work. First, again, continue to please call our Office of Emergency Preparedness for reporting your damage, and that's both individuals and commercial activities. And that number is 425-5351. Again, 425-5351, or you can go online at www.bossierparishla.gov and submit it electronically. Another important factor is now that we have been declared for individual assistance is for all citizens, all residents who have been impacted and businesses to go ahead and register so that when the DRC, the FEMA site is set up here on the ground, that you can then begin the second process. But the first process is going in and registering. Again, slowly that number, 1-800-621-3362. I say again, 1-800-621-3362. Or online, www.bossierparishla.gov. disasterassistance.gov. One more time, www.disasterassistance.gov. So again, for our impacted families and community members, report your damage to our office, which helps senior leadership, helps the leadership to know exactly what houses have been impacted and who we need to check on. And again, report the process to register yourself for the assistance that will come in the days in our community. That is one phase. The other wonderful things that are happening throughout the parish is the American Red Cross is now sending out their damage assessment teams. So you will see personnel soon in the community in their Red Cross vest going door to door trying to find out what damage there is. Now, of course, obviously we have here, we are in South Bossier, some areas are not accessible. Do not be concerned. Report your damage to our office and register with FEMA, and we will come when the water comes down. The other things you're going to start seeing, and I'll be introducing them in a few moments, is we have several nonprofits and church groups, regional and national, have arrived. It is so wonderful for the Northwest Louisiana community, the Bossier community. We have always been there for our fellow citizens of Louisiana and South Louisiana during hurricanes, and now our fellow citizens in the state and region have come to our assistance in one of our worst emergencies. And so I'll be introducing those in a few moments. What I'd like to now tell you about is something very unique we want to do to get assistance between that first couple of days and now, as the sheriff mentioned, ironically today being 1 week. We want to meet immediate needs of our community. So we're going to create something called, and I'm sorry I'm competing with that truck behind me, a FACT, a Forward Assistance Center. And you say, Gene, why the word forward? Look where you are. You're in the middle of a disaster area. There's water all around us. Our neighbors around us still have damaged homes and water in them. We want to get those critical materials and services to these families in their affected areas. So let me use South Bossier. On a day that I'll be announcing in a moment, we're going to have tetanus shots provided by the Department of Health and Hospitals and Office of Public Health for those individuals who have been impacted by the flood. Now, if they received the tetanus shot last year or in the last 5 years, there's no need to get another one. So several individuals had them last year when we offered them also for free. But again, our state partners are wonderful. They have rallied their resources and their staff, and I'll get again the dates and times. So we're going to go to Elm Grove Elementary, and on a Saturday morning, this Saturday morning coming up, and again, I'll go over the times for you in a few moments, we're going to provide shots. We're going to provide immediate food and water supplies for those who need to go back into their neighborhoods and start the cleaning process, which they're doing. Just as important, these major nonprofits that are here, church groups, will have a representative at that site, a meet and greet, so that you can say to them, yes, I'm on the Bossier Office of Homeland Security's list of damage. I live 123 Green Street, and I need assistance in the mud out process. And they will start the process for their charity and their criteria to assist you. And of course, our office will be there to collect any other individual's information that we do not have in the database. It is not the same as the MARC, which we provided last year. I used an analogy with Unified Command this morning. A MARC was like your big box grocery store. You walk around with a cart and you fill it up with all these things. Well, we don't need to do that now because, again, we'll have a disaster recovery center in a few days in our community. So basically what we're opening is a convenience store. You'll go in, get those most immediate things you need, and then go back to your home and begin the recovery process. So I'd like to cover the schedule now with you, and again for the media, I have a copy for you after this. The first Forward Assistance Center, which makes sense, it was the first community impacted, will be the Houghton Tall Timbers community. And it will be at Platt Elementary School at 680 Highway 80 East, Houghton, Louisiana. And the most important, it will be from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. this Thursday, March 17th. So re-saying again, for the Haughton community, it'll be Platt Elementary, a school that most people know that area, that's the school that serves them. Their elementary school in their gym from 5:30 to 8:30. The next Forward Assistance Center will be at Elm Grove Elementary on Saturday, March 19th, this Saturday, from 9 a.m. till noon. And just for the media, that's 1541 Old Highway 71. 1541 Old Highway 71, of course, Elm Grove, Louisiana. And that will be also in the gym. Again, that is 9 to noon. Then giving us time for our staff and our many partners in the community responding with us, we'll move up to Curtis Elementary, serving the Sligo Road and Golden Meadows and all that region there that was impacted, touching into Bossier City, obviously. And that will be at Curtis Elementary, which is 5600 Barksdale Boulevard. And again, the critical time, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. At this time, I'd like to have the nonprofits that are here have a representative each to come forward, one per organization. And I'm going to start off with Major Bennett, our our Salvation Army commander of his unit here. They have been instrumental in keeping the first responders, the trustees, the National Guardsmen, all your men and women who've been trying to save our levee system and continuing to protect our community. They have been keeping us going. And as you'll see now, he's in a next phase. He's in the community making a difference for our citizens trying to recover. Major.
Moving forward, we're starting to taper off feeding the responders. As their numbers go down and we begin to move into this next phase, we're going to be feeding mud out teams in some locations, but we're also going to be taking food out into the public. We recognize that if you're in your home cleaning out your house and you're covered with mud and everything that's involved in cleaning out a house, you don't want to stop and go down to the McDonald's and get something to eat. You need something right then and there, so we're going to try to work to be in those communities to provide the food necessary. We also have cleanup kits that include a mop, a squeegee, and a broom and various chemicals. We have a lot of those and more on the way, and we'll be distributing those also out into the community. We're working together with wonderful partners that are coming from outside of our community. I'm here locally, and I'm very blessed to have all these partners to come in from all over the country, literally. To come in and work with, and we look forward to making this community get back to where we were before all this happened, and enjoying the fellowship that we have as a community until the next thing happens. But we're going to be ready no matter what. If you have any questions, be sure you check in with the authorities, check in with the FEMA number. They will be working closely with us. If anything is needed that we can provide, we'll be working with the authorities to provide that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next groups that we'll be introducing are those actual church-based organizations or nonprofit organizations that go into the community and do mud out operations, or in one other particular organization, those who supply us with materials. It is a coordinated effort. I'm so proud of our community. We sat down and over a map, and we basically said, this organization you take from 157, let's say north, you take from 157 south. We have a new organization just arriving. We will brief them in. So there's an orchestrated effort to make sure we do not duplicate our efforts, because again, there is so much damage, and we want to do the greatest good for the greatest number. I'm going to let our Baptist convention group here now. You probably recognize them. They have been here before. They made a huge difference this summer in helping our neighbors, and we'll let them start, please.
I'm Alan Knuckles, Incident Commander for Southern Baptist Disaster Relief. We're working out of First Baptist Church in Haughton. Actually, we're working all over the state. We're bringing in people in teams from all over the state. I don't want to give you a lot of details of that. What we have to offer, we have teams already going in and assessing situations. We have what is generally called mud out teams or debris removal teams that are arriving today that will be able to come in, remove carpets, cut the walls, but not only get rid of the debris, get the insulation out, but to come in and pressure wash and disinfect. And that's something that a lot of people are thinking they can just go in and get the carpets and all that out and they're ready to go. They're not. They needs to be washed out and pressure washed. And we're willing to help in any way we can. I want you to know this does not cost anybody anything. We're not going to ask you for a donation or anything like that. We're here strictly to minister to you and to help you with trained people to come in and do the work that you can't do to help you. Let me real quickly just give you a phone number, except I'm getting an alert. Okay, hold on a second here. Our hotline to get on the list is 318-229-9645. 318-229-9645. And if you'll call that number, if anyone needs help, we'll send assessors out, and then we can follow that up with the appropriate people to do mud out for you, or possibly refer you to other groups that can do things that we can't do. If you have questions, feel free to call that number. We appreciate all the people that are involved in the work here, especially law enforcement and everything they're doing. You got a great team here. I'm impressed with what's happening here, and they're doing you a good job.
The next group is Samaritan's Purse.
I'm Wayne Shoemaker. I'm the program manager for this response here in Louisiana for Samaritan's Purse. We're also a nonprofit organization. We serve across the United States responding to disasters, people whose lives have been upset and need some help. So we're also doing mud outs or muck outs. We're doing a temporary roof repair if that's needed as a result from the storm, chainsaw work if that's necessary from the results of the storm, and we're also doing debris removal cleanup. We can also help people with possession recovery if they need to get those things out of their home. Maybe they're not planning on going back in there, so we can help with that too with our volunteers. We're bringing in volunteers from all 50 states, so we'll have several states represented. We'll be hosted by the Bel Air Baptist Church, and they'll be hosting us, and we'll be housing our volunteers there. We also have as one of our sister organizations the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team. Those folks will be here representing as chaplains. They'll be here to help with people who have emotional and spiritual cares. So we'd be glad to help you. Let me give you our number that you can call us here locally, either to volunteer or to if you need assistance. And we will be accepting day volunteers. We'll do an orientation. Call this number to find out about that. The number is 318-525-6555. Again, 318-525-6555. Thank you for allowing us to be here in your community and serve in this way.
The next organization we have is Poured Out, and they also do mud out operations, please.
Morning. My name is Kent Butterfield. I'm with the organization Poured Out. We are set up currently at Church of the Cross or Central Assembly of God Church in Houghton. The address is 700 Highway 80. We do essentially the same things as Samaritan's Purse does. We've worked with them in several locations, and I'm just glad to see all the folks out here that we've cooperated with before. We've cooperated with the Baptists and a lot of different groups. It's a wonderful set of organizations that work together. Our hotline number for help, also we are a nonprofit, we do not charge for our services. Our hotline number for help is 707-278-8737. I'll say it again, 707-278-8737. And we're glad to help in any way we can, spiritual help, physical help. Our truck will be here Friday with all our equipment, but we already have some volunteers lined up that can start working on muck outs and mud outs. So with that, I thank you very much and turn it back over.
In an effort like this, so large, other nonprofits come with their specialty and skills. Now we have another church-based organization that brings basically logistics organization. and the ability to handle donated items, etc. So I'll allow the next group to speak. Please, sir.
I'm Levita Whitson. I'm director for Louisiana Adventist Community Services, and the ones that are unsolicited donated goods, sometimes it becomes overwhelming, and we bring a crew in and help organize things like that. We also provide a donations unit that can be set up in areas that can't get out to get goods from other places. So that's what we're here for.
So as I close, you hear there's a hub of hope here. From churches, our local churches being the base of operation for so many of these response groups, to the Knights of Columbus cooking for our men and women on the levee for days in concert and coordination with the Salvation Army. It has been a team effort extraordinaire. How do you organize something like this? How do you allow the locals who want to help? I just got a call from a wonderful lady a moment ago as I'm driving here, and she's like, I and my fellow employees want to help. I said, I have that answer for you. Through the Community Foundation's support, quietly for the last 2 years with all our nonprofits and our VOAD, volunteer organizations assisting in disasters, we've been working on something called the LINC program, and I'll spell it for you, LINCC.US, spelled out Lima, India, November, Charlie, dot, Uncle, let's give you Uniform, Sierra, link.us. If you go to that site, you will see where our partners at Community Foundation have been keeping up with the Salvation Army's needs, with the needs of these groups. So if you want to volunteer in our community, and they sure can use the hands, here's your opportunity. If you want to donate something, there are things we need and there's some things we have enough of. There is our priority listing. So the LINC is the one-stop shop for us here in our community for Bossier, and I think Caddo as well, obviously. It's where we state our needs as a task force, as an EOC, as a command, and again working with our nonprofits and church partners. So if you want to know how you can help, go to the LINC site. It is the one shop to finding out information. Sheriff, sir, thank you.
Gene's right. These people and their organizations have been invaluable in this recovery, and we've still got a long way to go. Another partner is the state police. When I-20 was shut down in both directions a few days ago, have Matt Harris back here, PIO with the state, and I'm going to get him to update us. I know we all got an alert about I-10 and so forth, so he's got the latest information. Matt, would you bring us up to speed?
Basically, there was a push alert sent out this morning saying that I-10 around the Texas-Louisiana line was closed, and that's incorrect information. As of now, it's not closed. They do predict that they might possibly close it within 4 to 5 hours, but that's not a definite. They're going to do the best they can to keep traffic flowing, at an adequate level. In the event that it does close, we could experience a large influx in traffic up here along the I-20 corridor, and on I-49, because they're going to reroute traffic up I-49 to Shreveport. They're going to reroute traffic up US 165 to Alexandria, where they'll meet, and that traffic will get on I-49 and it'll come north to Shreveport, because that's the only way around all the secondary flooding and stuff like that we have going on in the area. So with that being said, we encourage people up here, which you've already been extremely patient with all the road closures and all that. We still have about 25 state and U.S. highways in the Troop G area alone that are still closed. More roadways are coming open, but remember, as that water goes south, the southern roadways are starting to be closed because their water levels are coming up. DOTD for Texas and Louisiana are working together to inspect a bridge on US 190. If that bridge passes inspection, or both bridges pass inspection, we don't have to worry about the traffic diversion routes, because all that traffic will be pushed on to 190. And that'll be our ideal plan. But just to let y'all know what could come in the event that closure does happen and those bridges don't meet the inspection criteria for DOTD officials both Texas and Louisiana, they won't push traffic onto that roadway. They'll push it up I-49 to us. So there's a lot of secondary roadways that before weren't open that are now back open, north of I-20 and things like that. So when that does happen, plan to have to leave, if that does happen. Let's say that way. Let's do wishful thinking. Let's plan to leave earlier from our house. Let's plan that our commute's going to be a larger. Everybody knows what I-20 looks like at 8 o'clock in the morning. That congestion would be tripled if in the event that they send all that traffic from I-10 to Shreveport. So let's be mindful of that in the event that that happens. For local people that know their way around, if secondary roadways are open, follow our road closures on Facebook. Follow the parish road closures that Lieutenant Davis is putting out on the Bossier Parish Facebook page. And the other municipalities and sheriff's offices in our Troop G area, they're all posting their parish road closures. Follow that stuff, because in the event that that traffic comes up here, you're going to need an ulterior route or a secondary route that you can make it to and from your commute to work, or else you're going to get stuck in gridlock traffic, because that's about the only word I can describe it with. We all know what it looked like when we shut I-20 down, because all that traffic was pushed beyond Highway 80 because we couldn't divert it to Highway 80 like we normally do. Be mindful of that. All the local people, that's what we're asking. If that happens, we're going to tell you about it the minute it happens. Start planning ahead, which route you're going to take to work, which route you're going to use to get to school, get your kids to school, so on and so forth, because we're going to see a large influx of traffic on I-49 and I-20 in Shreveport-Bossier area. And that's all I have. Like I said, we'll notify y'all the minute they let that closure known. Texas DPS will make the ultimate decision on whether or not to close that roadway. When they do, they're going to push that notification to us. They're probably also going to push a push alert out like you saw this morning, and we're going to put all that road closure information on our website, Facebook. We're going to push it out to all the local media. So just stay tuned like you have for the entire process, to the local media, traffic reports, because it's very important that you know what roads are closed and which ones aren't, and do not pass a barricade. If there's a barricade still up, it's not because we forgot it. It's not because DOTD forgot it. It could mean a multitude of things. It could mean the water's just not visible from where you're at. It could mean that the roadway's washed out. Or if you get to a road that doesn't have a barricade on it and you get to high water, don't proceed into the water, because you don't know if there's a washout underneath that water. This water's not crystal clear like the ocean is in Florida. This stuff is dark, it's murky. You can't even see the stripes on the road in some spots. Don't proceed forward through an unbarricaded roadway, because it could be washed out. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great update, man. Chief Tyson and your folks have been working around the clock. Any
Yes, sir.
additional?
Just the Bistineau area, if you want to mention that, if they need any assets or.
Yeah, Bistineau area, understand their record levels over there above flood stage, so we're there to help them if you need it. Call us. So at this time, any questions that some of these experts can answer, we're here.
Sheriff, I'll ask you about your big truck. Last June, when you got that thing right after the flood was starting to go down, you said, what do we gonna need that thing for?
Yeah, and last summer it was sitting up there. It was 115 degrees on the concrete parking lot. We kind of got some funny looks. What are you doing with that? But I wish I had 5 more today. Great. Yes, ma'am.
What is the rate of flow right now down south?
The rate of flow. That's a
How soon?
yeah.
Well,
Well, we've actually seen at least a crest and some slight drops in all the gauges. The Red River seems to have crested, thank goodness, and so it's looking up. We got some sort of an explanation about possibly the High Island gauge could rise as the river, even though it's crested. Really, that down there is more dependent on the Coshada than the Shreveport locking dam, and so it's going to be historic levels down there. So they say it could slow down the water, which could maybe cause a small rise. Possibly, but they don't seem to be alarmed at anything major, so we're just kind of working with it. Good enough. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all's hard work. See, back to work.
Yeah, there you go.